Circle Rants! Oh my God!
Hey guys, welcome back. Well, yeah, it's been a while. So I'll say welcome back to the Squared Circle Rants podcast. Yes. For those few that actually followed us, listened to us, supported us, it's been quite a while. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna always shoot it to you straight. I've been just trying to make this podcast better. Been not only look better, sound better, feel better. You know, more professionalism with not a lot of money. And though in the name it says Squared Circle Rants, not a lot to actually rant about this week. What a huge, I'm going to say huge, wrestling weekend, and most of it had to do with the fans being back. I didn't realize how much we had missed them. I mean, we all said it. We all knew how weird, it was watching either an empty arena, watching an empty arena with the weird, pre-recorded sounds, which would if you're like me, it would half bug me, but I understood. But I still cringed anytime I heard "you suck" or "this is awesome." It's just very disingenuous, but so great to have the fans there, and I'm sure they were more excited to be there in person, to just yell out their opinions. And man, it came through on camera. I'm not going to go into each and every detail of certain matches. I just want to really just give huge praise to everything that WWE did. Well, that is until Monday, but I'll get to that here in a minute. And there's a few things I'm going to bring up around this awesome weekend of wrestling that I just didn't like, or there were horrible decisions. But for the most part, dude, I am happy to be a wrestling fan. I mean, I've always been happy to be a wrestling fan, but after what I've seen, mostly what I've seen over this weekend, it just seems like wrestling is getting better. And I don't want to jinx that. And again, Monday, by what happened Monday, and I'll get to later, made that kind of seem far-fetched in a sense. But you know what? Let's just get into it. All started on Friday. Aside from NXT, the big, I guess you would call it the main roster, as they always say. NXT, had the fans. They were smart about what they did. They still are. But it was just so great to see SmackDown. And not only a huge new, I don't know, what would you call it, Titantron, graphics, whatever. But just seeing all those fans back in the arena. Yes, we've gotten it with AEW, and kudos to them. I'll always give the devil its due when it comes to AEW, even though I don't quite agree with everything that they do. Yes, they were first in the sense of a huge crowd, though they weren't smart about allowing certain fans in. And no, I'm not talking about the one fan that tried to jump in the ring. That's a different story. I'm talking about, and I've said it before in the podcast, people not wearing masks, or wearing them bad. I won't get too nitpicky on that because let's not jinx it, we're getting back to normal. And maybe that's what I really enjoyed about this. This really was a sense that we are getting back to that. And I hope that we're getting back to that. But it really showed through to every match, to every big event. SmackDown felt wonderful. But what really made me think that we're turning things around in wrestling or that wrestling is turning a corner no matter what company it is, was actually, I got to give that credit to Slammiversary. I actually, originally, to tell you the truth, I wasn't going to order this pay-per-view. I was going to be like a lot of people, just wait till it was over, read about it, or, look on YouTube, see what happened. But it was just the main event that sold me again. Kenny Omega defending the Impact Championship against Sami Callihan. And of course, they beat the shit out of each other. It was a great, hardcore match, last man standing, whatever you want to call it. They put on one hell of a show. But not just them. Everybody seemed to just up their game. They seemed to take that energy from the fans, which Slammiversary, I mean, yes, they weren't AEW or quite WWE, crowds. But for Impact, this was good. And I'm sure they loved it, the fans, wrestlers alike. Everything just felt so special. I mean, then again, Slammiversary is always supposed to feel like that. I can't remember if it's Slammiversary or Bound for Glory that's supposed to be their WrestleMania. I've been in and out of Impact for so many years, going back to the days of TNA. I've been a Lapse fan. I've gotten back into it recently, not just because some of the new hires, but they're doing better. They are chugging along. They're doing a great job, and we got tons of new surprises. We had Mickie James. We had Chelsea Green. Surprisingly, TJP couldn't show up, so in his place was No Way Jose. No Way Jose. And man, so good to see him. If someone wants to comment, if you know where he's been, I have not seen him wrestle or heard about him since he got fired last year. But, it was so good to see him. I also kept wondering how he kept the name, because something like that, you would think that WWE would want to hold on to that, as they typically do with, gimmick names, or any gimmick for that matter. And that one, actually, I wouldn't blame him. I, along with a lot of people, were upset that they were keeping, the Cody Rhodes name, because that was just ridiculous. But No Way Jose, we'd be like, yeah, who cares? But no, he's still in fantastic shape. He can still go in the ring. He put on one hell of an entertaining match in the Fatal 4-Way tag title matches. I am a little shocked that they gave it back to the Good Brothers, but it fits into the whole elite heel group having all the titles, so I kind of get it. Speaking of which, to me, the biggest surprise of that whole event was seeing Jay White, who is the current leader of the Bullet Club, and that's another thing I'm a little hazy on. I haven't kept up with New Japan in so long. They're just, even pre-pandemic, during pandemic, there is so much wrestling out there. And yes, I am a wrestling reviewer in a sense. I'm not a journalist. And heck, I don't have a job, so you would think I'd be able to keep up with all this, but no. It's really hard for me. A lot of the times, I even find out stuff going to my own Facebook page that me and Debonair Douglas himself run, and the stuff he finds, I go, oh crap. So sometimes I'm just as surprised as you, or don't totally know what's going on, but that's something I want to say, that this, real quick, I think that it's good, or I think that's what this podcast group, Squared Circle Rants as a whole, really is. We are huge professional wrestling fans who love professional wrestling. Let me repeat that. Love professional wrestling. But we also like to bitch about it. But either way, we hope that you'll join us, support us, and mark out with us. But no, let me get back to what we saw at Slammiversary. Jay White of the Bullet Club, our current leader of the Bullet Club, coming to the ring where Kenny, Good Brothers, Don Callis were all out there. I was shocked just to see him on any television here in America, because we saw him years ago in Ring of Honor, but he's made New Japan his home for quite a while. So it was just, shocking to see him. And then, of course, the whole group thinking, hey, let's do this before Jay White can make a decision. Everything goes off the air. But even before that, we saw someone running to the ring. And at first, this actually, I'm going to admit this, I thought it was dumb to, just cut it off right there going, well, who was the guy running to the ring? What did they do? But then it hit me. I'm like, no, Mr. Awesome, this is how they're going to get people to watch Thursday. And the more I thought about it, it was brilliant. And of course, I'm going to be watching Thursday. I don't know how many of you are. If you're just excited as I was, you're going to tune in as well. And then, of course, the next day we had the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And my God, not since WrestleMania have we had the big crowd. And WrestleMania was special. For what we saw, the 2 nights, everything was good, and it was great to see fans. But we got that excitement again. And I love it. And we're going to be seeing fans for hopefully the foreseeable future. Hopefully I'll be able to go to some live events here soon. But other than a couple of things, well, actually, one thing really, and I'm going to go on a rant here in a minute about that. Money in the Bank was awesome. And yes, mostly because of the fans, but it also seemed WWE stepped it up. There was, some things I'm sure you could nitpick if you go back and rewatch it. I could nitpick a few things. Say, for example, I was so happy Nikki Cross won the Money in the Bank. I doubt anyone saw that coming. But if you notice her big jump off the ladder onto everybody else, I get nitpicky about certain things where, they're beating each other up, but they're looking, and that, that you want that group to catch the jumping person, but you want it to look realistic. But it looked fine. Nikki hit him, but in the replay, right as she jumped, that ladder kind of went, just teetered. So, that could have went badly. But that was a huge moment for Nikki, and I called it a while ago in our own group. When they first brought this character, of course, your first reaction could be, oh, this is freaking stupid. I even rolled my eyes, but because how much I love Nikki Cross, even with the superhero gimmick, I was going to give it a chance. And from what it looks like and was reported, WWE is definitely going to give it a chance. Vince is really high on Nikki Cross, which is awesome. You always love when Vince is backing someone, except Brock Lesnar. Because as much as he's, the big wrestling promoter, it seems like he's either on someone just for a little bit and then goes, gave up, or he just doesn't give a chance at all. But it's good to see when he's backing backing a wrestler. Nikki DeCross, what the heck am I saying? Nikki Cross did, a great job in the match, but it was a great moment for her. I'm so happy. Happy as well for Big E. Thank God they are pushing him. Still not happy that they split up the New Day, even though the New Day says we're technically still together, but I am so happy that they're pushing Big E as a single star, he is not only entertaining, he is great in the ring. He can go. Sometimes it doesn't seem like he's safe, but I think he is. I think the thing that doesn't seem so safe and when he does that middle rope, spear that sometimes he lands, sometimes he doesn't. That was awesome to see. And actually every match was pretty on point. However, so here's where I'm going to go on my rant. I didn't catch the pre-show because I was setting whatever up on Peacock. And no, this wasn't because they messed up. That was later. I'll tell you that in a second. But while I was watching the event itself, I saw that the Usos are now the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Typically, I'd be very happy about this. As much as I love Rey Mysterio, I'm not high on his son, who is still very, very green. We've heard reports that they've had wrestlers go back to the Performance Center, get back to basics or relearn certain, just make sure everything is solid. And, I'm not mad at Dominic. He's getting a great opportunity. I'm just mad that they pushed him way too soon. And he still really needs more training. But since he's already in the spotlight, he's really, trial by fire. But I'm not, that's why I'm not really high on that tag team. It's a father and son thing, which is cool. I wasn't really originally high about them winning the belts. But, Usos, multiple time champions. They've put on amazing matches. But the reason I am so upset is because it seems... Actually, no, not it is. Jimmy Uso was rewarded for bad behavior. And this is, it's ridiculous. It really ticked me off, really got to me, because we know the report. Everyone by now knows what Jimmy Uso did. This isn't his first offense. And this isn't the first time he's been rewarded for this behavior. What if he would have killed someone? I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad he didn't hurt anybody. But he gets very basic jail stay and WWE rewards him. I mean, come on. By this point, I don't care if he's in a big main event spot. Yes, he has done a lot with the company, for the company, but when it's this much, this is what, his third, fourth offense? I know I should have looked that up. He should have been fired. That's how it is. Or at the very least suspended and punished. But, even in our own Squared Circle Rants Facebook page group, I had people generally tell me, no, he needs to be fired. And it's hard to argue with that. He should not be there. And that's just, not much more you can say about it. Obviously the company doesn't care, or it seems like it. So that's my thoughts on the matter. We don't know if they'll drop the title soon. I doubt they will. But it gets me angry and it gets me sad. When are we going to learn? When are you going to learn, WWE, that we can't reward this behavior? Anywho. Got a little dark there. I apologize. But no, Money in the Bank was amazing. Even, I was a little weirded out by how things went between Lashley and Kofi. I think mostly because I just felt bad for Kofi. Although on the other end, it really solidifies Bobby Lashley as the dominant champion. So I see why they went that way. It was just, brutal. I don't think, God, Kofi got in one offense. But it kept your attention. It wasn't a squash match, but it wasn't pretty either. Main event, of course, was phenomenal. Roman Reigns versus Edge. Edge can still go. He knows what to do. He may not be in the ring as much. And I'm about to complain about a certain someone who popped up. And I'm only going to complain because they're a part-timer. And technically, Edge is a part-timer. I feel, though, he gets a little bit of a pass. Because it's not that he chose to go away for so many years. He had to. He had no choice. And we were surprised just to get him back. And any match he's in, I'm happy to watch. Because it's been... WWE has been missing Edge, and there's nobody like him. And him and Reigns put on one hell of a great match. They're starting a feud between Rollins and Edge that should be good, as long as they don't freaking have repeat matches every freaking week. But the huge surprise, I am happy about this. The huge surprise was John Cena returned. If you've been paying attention to reports, we kind of saw this coming, but it's still great to see him, and he still knows how to work a crowd. Heck, and this time he didn't have to say anything. He just stared down Roman Reigns, and already defiant, I ain't gonna take your crap. But we left Money in the Bank happy, entertained. Well, some of us. The event itself was great. But I'm sure you've heard these reports too. I put it on my Twitter, RC_awesome, about, oh my God, when we were getting to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, out of nowhere, the streaming just cut off. It would either come back in without audio, or just be completely blank. And when you're so invested in a pay-per-view, like I was, or many other people, I wasn't the only one that dealt with this. When you're so invested in that and that happens, oh, does it piss you off? And it really pissed me off. I know I wasn't the only one, like I just said. I saw other tweets, but that's on Peacock. This little experiment is not working. Bring the network back. But the event was just amazing. The whole weekend, I was on a wrestling high. I truly believe wrestling is getting better. And then Monday Night Raw with a crowd, which was awesome. But oh my God, we had so many repeat matches. We had a gimmick hardcore match that just made me cringe, even though it was good. Jackson Riker and Elias put on a good show, but it was a repeat and a gimmick match, which two bad things. Just most of the event seemed especially as much as I love John Cena and as much as I know Goldberg is a huge draw. Of course, Cena being more of a draw nowadays because he's a young buck, or younger buck, I should say. He's not quite young anymore, but he's not that old. He's still got something in him. What I I mean, of course, I was mad at, or I'm still, anytime Goldberg shows up, you know he's going for the title. It's freaking ridiculous. Yes, he can draw people, but that doesn't put him in the front of the line. But here we are. And actually, I was upset with Cena doing the same thing. As much as I've missed Cena, as much as I love Cena, he's entertaining. He knows, again, how to get the crowd going, either with boos, with chants, huge draw. But let's face it, he's a part-timer now. He's not in the ring every single week or once a month. And good for him. He's been making big movies, traveling the world. Awesome. But now he's fallen in that part-timer getting a direct shot to the title. Now it's, of course, Reigns, Cena, going to be awesome. Goldberg, Lashley. Lashley will put on one hell of a good show, but God, if that match is, we know the match is going to be short, not so sweet. A lot of people, it's going to draw a lot of people, but I'm just not so invested into it. I hope Lashley retains, just like I hope Reigns retains, because, I'm just done with part-timers getting titles. The only time I've ever really liked it, if you look at it, years ago, The Rock. He was a part-timer, got a title shot, and won the title. Difference, though, he stuck around while he was champion. Granted, not every single week, but he was involved in the story, involved with the wrestler. Whereas recently it's been part-timer comes in, wins the belt. He's maybe there a month or so, not always on TV, and then bye-bye. He got his paycheck and went off. So I'm excited for the matches themselves, but I'm just upset, and apparently it's not going to change, but I hope it does, because wrestling is getting better. I'm going to keep repeating it. It is, and this is just going to slow that down, in my opinion. We also got, which I was happy to see, I wasn't happy with the results, Karrion Kross making his Raw debut against Jeff Hardy, which is okay. We haven't seen Jeff in, I think, a month, maybe longer. And they have Kross lose to Hardy with a assisted rope roll-up pin. So what, is Hardy heel now? And they have him not just beat a guy like Kross, Karrion Kross, who on NXT has been undefeated. I mean, yeah, there was a year gap, but hey, injuries happen. I mean, correct myself there. I did like how Karrion, move the storyline along. He's trying to make it better, and he's good on the microphone and saying, Jeff Hardy is going to regret that. You're like, okay, I'm digging this feud to start. But with the way it was handled, is Jeff heel now? I don't, Karrion Kross is heel. As, he's not a anti-hero. No, he's heel straight up. We just love him. And that happens sometimes. Adam Cole, he's another example, or even the whole Undisputed Era. God, I miss him. Anyway, whole bunch of heels. They were face briefly for a little bit. But heel or not, you cheered him, because you're like, damn, this, like Kross. I love the character. I love the aggression. What he, his technical skills, his brutality. This dude just got it all. But it's just weird booking decisions. since the fans are back, let's give it a chance. Let's hope for the best. But yeah, Raw was meh. I mean, even with the fans, even with certain people showing up, it was just meh until the very end of the show that nobody, I doubt anybody, saw this coming. Nikki Cross cashing in her Money in the Bank contract the day after and actually winning. Boom. Man, I still have goosebumps on that. I mean, it was just out of nowhere. And it's awesome. It just good. And I'm hoping they keep the title on her for a while. She deserves it. You know, she was another NXT call-up, or even another wrestler that WWE has a history of this with a lot of them. They'll bring him to a certain point, you know, oh, we're pushing this person, and then just seem to forget him. And you feel so bad. Well, most of the time. You feel so bad, you know, for wrestlers who get this huge push and then nothing happens. But God bless him. God bless Nikki Cross. She's going to make a great champion. I'm sure they're going to have her feud with Charlotte because, you know, she's the Nikki Cross is the plucky babyface champion, and Charlotte, who, give her credit, she does play a good heel, even though she can make it really freaking annoying and not in a good way. You know what I mean? She's just better at playing that heel persona. So we're probably going to get a little rivalry out of that. And then, of course, well, last night, well, yes, it was last night, but I watched it this morning. That's just how things go. NXT still in the Capitol Wrestling Center, but it fits. It's fitting for NXT. It sets them apart. I think they had a better show than Raw, even with a smaller crowd. I mean, there was a couple of matches that I'm like, okay. I wasn't I wasn't too excited for Xia Li versus Raquel, yeah, whatever, for the championship, because I don't know, this one, they didn't really set it up. Like it didn't seem like they were building to this. It just seemed, okay, Zia's been getting some good wins, and then just out of nowhere, which, heck, you don't always need a huge build-up. I get that, but it was just, all right, I'm going to fight you for the title. Okay. And that's just how it seemed. And then, of course, the way the match went, the ending was very weird. Gonzalez dropped a big elbow on top of Xia Li's stomach. She kept holding her stomach. Even doctors or trainers, whatever you want to call them, refs too, taking a look at her. Gonzalez saying, let's go. And then she did one more move to Zia when she was cleared, and the match was over. So, but it was very confusing as to, was this a part of the match? And if so, why? You know, if it was a part of the match, like a part of the storyline. For one, Zia's been shown as a nothing can stop her. Or you can hit her as much as you want, because, you know, those vignettes, they showed her getting hit countless times and then just to deal with it. But also, if she was was she playing possum? You know, if so, why didn't anyone come out to help her? Where was Boa? Where was, I forgot the big bad that's with her name, but where was she? And if this was legitimate, that she was just hurting, why didn't they stop the match? Why wasn't it just a quick roll-up? I know, it's just very weird, but I'm sure we'll hear reports soon. If I hear them first, of course, I'll put it on the podcast or the Squared Circle Rants Facebook page. Which, hey, you know, I offer you guys to come mark out with us. Yep, new tagline. You're welcome. But really, come mark out with us. The Circle Rants Facebook page. We share funny memes. We share stories we've read. We share our opinions. I usually upload these to the page and not just on YouTube. Also, we put it, if you don't want to watch me on YouTube, you can always listen wherever you stream your podcast. Unless it's that one podcast, then no. I don't know. So yeah, find us there. You can also find the Squared Circle Rants Instagram page. As well as, like I said earlier, I am RC_awesome on Twitter. I have too many accounts. I gotta double check my names here. Come on. But RCGade86 on Instagram. Nope, just RCGade. Sorry, that was a different account. See, I can't keep up. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. Anywho. You can find me there. You can find me... So essentially, you can find me there. You can find me on Twitter. You can find Debonair Douglas. Also on the Squared Circle Rants Facebook page. I believe he has an Instagram. We'll post that later. But thank you guys, for those that do, for supporting, for listening to us, watching us, joining the group. We appreciate all the support. We appreciate your opinions. And we always love to hear from you. I don't get a lot of comments, and the few that I do, I'm grateful for. But yeah, if you disagree with me, you want to debate this, you want to fight, brother, come on over to the Facebook page or comment on the YouTube. But please always like, comment, subscribe, listen, and enjoy. But most importantly, I'm Mr. Awesome RC Gade from Squared Circle Rants, and please come mark out with us.
Square Circle Rants! Oh my God!